happening. And we're going to start with Mr. LeBron James. Brian Windhorst reporting that they have reached out. The team has actually reached out to LeBron. They want him back, but he has not yet made himself available to meet. Free agency officially starts tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific, and he is widely considered the best available unrestricted free agent this offseason. All right, Chandler, Lou, are we going to actually see him leave? Because now that I'm looking at all these different sources and whatnot, there's a lot of smoke here, dude.
I got to be honest, I never really imagined him leaving. I think Austin Reeves was kind of the first big step, the first piece to go, and they obviously handled him, giving him his big, much-deserved deal. They still have a lot of other decisions with Luke Kennard, with Rui Hachimura. There's still another piece, a couple other pieces to go, but LeBron James is still extremely valuable. It's crazy that he is still probably the hottest free agent right now at 41 years old, just everything he's been through at his age, but he is, and I think he does still hold the power and the chips. And I think one thing about LeBron and his entire career, if something gets out, it's because he wants it out, and if something doesn't, it's because he does not want it out. He's been very good at that his entire career. His team, Rich Paul, Mav Carter, they've always been fantastic at that. So there's a reason we haven't heard anything. It's because they don't want us to hear anything yet, and they're probably, getting all their ducks in a row. But I'd like to think he comes back to LA. I'd like to see that team whole with Luka, with Austin Reeves. Like I said, they got to handle those other guys. I think there's some pieces to fall still, but LeBron James is still a huge value, even at his age. The year he had was unbelievable. So I'd like to see him finish his year in LA. I know there's smoke about, the Golden State Warriors going back home to Cleveland, but to me, it makes the most sense now that they got Austin done to go back to Lakers. Let's see this through, because I think that's the best opportunity, the best team that he could possibly get to, if it's out of the Lakers, the Warriors, or the Cavs.
I wouldn't overreact to him not making himself available. We're talking about a guy that's dealt with free agency and trade rumors and going to different teams for over 2 decades now. He understands the process. He knows it very well. His agency and his team does. And they've always been a group that hold their cards very close to their chest. And they always been in control of which way that it swings for LeBron James, whether he's going to stay in LA and go somewhere else. So, him not being available immediately for the Lakers, I wouldn't think too much in that. We've seen them, do the anniversary tour. I'm sure he's overseas somewhere hanging out and enjoying himself as he should be, as every other NBA player is doing right now, and traveling and enjoying their free time and doing the things that doesn't come with being on the clock as a guy in the league. So I don't pay too much attention to that. But I do think now that, like Chandler just mentioned, they signed Austin Reeves back. You have all of those things in a row. He's not going to really care what they're going to do outside of trying to make sure he get his money and trying to make sure that they have a team that they can go out and they can compete. So I see a world in which he comes back to the Lakers. I don't really see him leaving. We hear the things about Golden State, and we have fantasized about a Cleveland return, but I think at the end of the day, he's still a Laker when it's all said and done.
I think I thought this until all of these different reporters, sources, insiders started coming together with not just, hey, we feel like. It's like, well, no, the Lakers want to see what $50 million buys them if they get rid of Kennard, Rui, LeBron. The Warriors have Draymond, who's willing to redo his deal to give more money to LeBron to bring him in. They also want to try to bring AD over to Golden State. Like, all of a sudden, what was just sort of a pipe dream has some facts behind it, or at least what we think could be facts. I don't know, man. I kind of feel like maybe he goes to Golden State, which is crazy visuals to me. Yeah, exactly. It's like an old team. By the way,
but the Lakers are going to have their reasons on why they're reluctant too. Like, do you want to pay a 42-year-old guy $50 million? Like, again, it's LeBron James. We're not talking about any just normal 42-year-old. But then on the Warriors, does LeBron James and Anthony Davis, do they move the needle and make them a contender over the Spurs and the Thunder and the Nuggets and all these great teams in the West? I don't know. It's a lot of money. It's obviously, I think it'd get a lot of fans in the seats. It would be exciting. They would be the hottest ticket. They would be on national TV every single night. That's the kind of juice that you're dealing with LeBron James and these guys that we're talking about. But it's interesting to see, what teams decide to do with where LeBron James is at in his career. Because like I said, he's still extremely valuable.
And officially, Draymond has declined his option right now. Like right now, breaking news. So keep an eye on all that. Like I said, there's a lot going on right now. The Kawhi Leonard news. Again, I'm driving yesterday, my 11-hour driving day, and I'm just listening to sort of all these breaking bits and pieces. And Kawhi to the Toronto Raptors is crazy talk, but it is a serious talk that is going on right now. It's starting to feel, Lou, and whether it's Toronto or not, but it is starting to feel like Kawhi is moving. Are you leaning more towards that direction now?
Clippers got to play the field, right? And especially if you don't get the results that you want out of having a player like that constantly surrounding him in the organization with pieces to win a championship, at some point, you got to figure something else out. And it's two things that always happens in the league. There are teams that's trying to get older and more experienced and get guys in that's had a winning reputation and what Kawhi Leonard brings to the table. And then there's always teams like the Clippers that haven't been able to get over the hump, and they want to get younger, but at the same time, they want to get some star power in there that's going to give them an opportunity to reset and try to win at that pace. Right now, it looks like a perfect storm. The Toronto Raptors are a team. They got some young stars. They got some young guys that made some noise in the playoffs. But the one thing that they needed was some experience. They need one guy to get them over that hump to add to what they already have. The Clippers, they bring in Darius Garland. They go get a pretty good draft pick and a young fella. Now, what else can we bring? Well, let's go get a younger all-star. Let's go get somebody. Let's entertain some conversations around some Jalen Browns and some other guys. And let's play the field. Let's get active like the rest of the other teams. So I didn't see this on my bingo card, but it makes sense to me.
Yeah, what's interesting is I'm with you, Lou. I didn't think of this scenario at all. You remember, I think it was 2019, Kawhi basically says, when he gets traded to Toronto, I'm only playing this 1 year, and he leads them to a championship and he bounces. Now there's reports that this is the only team he would sign a long-term deal. So this is interesting. It makes sense. I think the Raptors, would be obviously a perfect fit for them. And like you said, they have assets that maybe the Clippers would want to get younger with. I don't think it's going to be Scotty Barnes at this age, what Kawhi Leonard is, but Brandon Ingram's a name that you hear, RJ Barrett's a name that you hear, Quickly's a name you hear. And those are all three, up-and-coming players kind of going into their prime that you compare with the Darius Garland here in LA and kind of reset the future and the potential for the LA Clippers. So it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense to me. I think would be a great story, Kawhi going back there, and the season he had last year. He can still be a 1A player on a team, no doubt in my mind. And then there's also the Dallas rumors, the Masai. Yep. He's the guy that signed Toronto. There's, traded for Kawhi in Toronto. Now he's in Dallas. That would also be interesting. But Toronto to me makes sense because they have the pieces that I think the Clippers would, most likely want.
You could have offered me $50 million in 2020 and said, hey, Kawhi's going to end up in Toronto. And I would have said, no way. I would have taken that bet.
They probably feel like they got some. They probably feel like, look, we got a championship out of it. But what else could we have done if he would have stayed? You know what I mean? It's that chapter. It had closure, but it doesn't feel like it because when you win a championship with a guy like that, you want to run it back. You want to see what you can get out of it. And so now, with him possibly being on the market, if I'm Toronto and I'm right here and I need a veteran presence and I need somebody that's won in this city that's going to be loved and that's going to give us an even better opportunity to win games and push us further through the playoffs, I'm definitely having that conversation.
By the way, shout out Team Canada World Cup. First ones to move on already. Oh, Canada. Jalen Brown. We're just going down the list of big names in this league. Mike Scotto reporting that execs across the league are not wondering if he's going to get traded, but rather when and where he's going to get traded. Dude, Chandler, we kind of, I think we all feel like Jalen Brown is wired in a way that this is not sitting well with him. So I kind of get the logic behind that, but do you believe that they, in fact, when this new season starts, he is not going to be a Celtic?
Yeah, he's gone. I think everything that you've been hearing from his camp, everything that he's been feeling and saying and insinuating, as far as since the season's ended, it just feels like the writing has been on the wall. And then when you officially put an all-NBA type player like Jalen Brown, who, again, I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think he's a negative guy, but he definitely is the type of player and personality that is going to be disgruntled after being offered up for a player that you feel like you're better in. You just had a better season than, and you're 2 years younger than. So I think there's definitely going to be some uncomfortable conversation there. I definitely think he is going to get moved, and I think teams are going to line up at the door to try and acquire him. And you look around, there's some great young teams that are up and coming, that are playoff teams like the Hawks, like the Rockets, like they're